let's come to our feet. Here we are then, standing to the back of the mat or where you have space, with our feet hip width apart, and we're going to roll the shoulders back and let the arms just hang light and loose beside us. As we stand here, press the heels into the floor, lift the chest, gently tuck under with the tail, but just a little so we can feel length from the tail all the way up to the top of the head. Take a deep breath in and then out. Good. Notice that full and wide breath as we breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Continue with the belly button towards you. So feel that hollowing effect between the hips, our gentle drawing in, which we become quite aware of. And then just rock forwards and back. Keep the feet flat to the floor, so we're not lifting. There's a very gentle rock, if you like, from the ankles as we go forwards and back. Now, one more, and then we're going to go side to side. So a real gentle sway, just shifting your body weight one way then the other. Again, without lifting. You could almost imagine a bit like a pendulum swing. Good. And then as we come over to the right, let's lift the left leg. Hold it there to balance. Squeeze the right buttock. Lift the chest. Be aware of your balance as you stand. And then step down. Let's do the other side. Left bum cheek squeezes. Right leg lifts. Hold. Keep it there. And then down. Good. So one more each side, but we're going to hold it for a few breaths. And really think about your balance as you stand on one leg. Good. Step down. Take your time, breathe out, lift the other leg. Squeeze the left buttock, tighten up the standing leg for support. And then step down. Good. Then with the hands on the hips, lift your left leg again. And we're going to circle from the hip. So we circle away to open the hip also as we mobilize the hip. If you need to keep your foot closer to the floor, please do. We're just going to do one more. Good. Step down and then change sides. Lift the other leg. Circle away. Good. Just a couple more. And then step down. Feet hip width. Good. This time lift both heels and lift both arms, just to shoulder height with the arms. And circle one arm 4 times. Keeping your balance, squeeze the bottom to assist. And then bring the arms and the heels down, roll the shoulders. And we do that again. Lift the heels, bring the arms to shoulder height. Belly button to the spine, circle the other arm. Good. Arms and heels down, roll the shoulders. Good. From here, come into a side bend. And then at center, lift the heels and both arms circle round. Then go the other way, side bend. At the center, lift the heels and both arms circle. Notice the rib cage here. Draw the ribs down as the arms lift. Squeeze into one side of the waist as you open the other. And lift up. Good. One more time. Good. Then from here, we're going to tuck the chin, tuck the tail, and slowly roll down. So move through the spine. Keep the knees soft, the arms hang light and loose. Just go to your range of movement. If you experience tension or tightness in your back, let that be as far as you go. And then gradually come back up again. Pressing the heels down, continuing with the tummy drawing inwards, and allow your head to come up last. Roll the shoulders, look forward, but then turn your head just to one side without moving anything else. Bring your head back to center, and then the other side. Come back to center, and then tuck the chin, tuck the tail, and slowly roll down again. So take your time. But remember, we don't need to force anything. If only halfway down is right for you, please do that. Feel like we're just mobilizing the spine, warming through the muscles and the tissues surrounding the spine. Allow your head to come up last. Roll the shoulders back and look forward. Turn the head just to one side. Come back to center. And then the other side. Come back to center. Tuck the chin, tuck the tail, we're going again. So feel it's almost like we're creating a little bit of air or space in between each disc or vertebrae of the spine. Then slowly come back up, restacking, recentering, and rebuilding the spine. So roll the shoulders back, lengthen up, coming up to stand. Turn your head again, just to one side. And then the other. And then we're going to go down one more time. So tuck the chin, tuck the tail, softening the knees, remember. We're not locking the legs. We're letting the arms hang light and loose as you roll to your range of movement. And then when you get there, let's hold it there in this folded position, pressing the heels into the floor, noticing the back of your legs. And just hold it here for 3 more breaths. Then with your next out breath, bending your knees and bringing them down onto your mat. Let's sit back into the heels. Take a little stretch. Arms forward, chest down. With your knees wider, it gives you a little bit more space just to bring the chest down. Then from here, come to lie on your front. And as you lie on your front, let's start by taking your arms along the floor above your head. Tuck your chin and just wiggle in to your hips. Just feel a neutral space. Hip bones, pubic bones level with the mat. Tummy drawing inwards. And we're going to go opposite arm and leg from here first of all, lengthening off the floor. And then down. So take a breath in. Breathe out and lengthen opposite arm and leg away from the middle of the body. And then release. Now as you do this, continue and remember as you change sides, we keep our body weight centered. So we avoid shifting side to side. Continue to feel the tummy come off the mat into your body. So we can say with this, opposite arm and leg is all good. However, if we want a little bit more, we could go both arms and both legs floating out off the floor and then down. Just be mindful of not pushing your hips into the floor to do that. Feel that you are lengthening from the midline out with these arms and legs. So they're lengthening out rather than up. There's a bit of space between them and the floor, but only a little. Good. So option 1, especially if there's concerns with your lower back for any reason, just do opposite arm and leg down here. Option 2, we have both arms and both legs floating off the floor as we engage the abdominal muscles and squeeze the bottom. Option 3, we could come into swimming arms and legs as we tap the opposite ends down, little finger, big toe tap down if we're going into swimming arms and legs. Now with swimming arms and legs, Careful not to rock side to side. Keep your body weight centered by squeezing the bum and maintaining that abdominal drawing in. You should become quite aware of this in your bottom. Tapping down each side, opposite ends, drawing the shoulders back. But remember, you have those other two options if that is better for your body today. So wherever you are, let's continue for maybe 4 or 5 more breaths, working through wherever you are with it. And then when you're ready to release, we can just let the arms and legs rest on the mat. Wiggle through the hips, loosen up. Then here, let's come up onto your forearms for a single or double leg kick. So here, with your palms pressing lightly down, draw your shoulder blades down your back and feel your belly button draw in. Remember, we don't want it to fall out. It's not a good look. So let's start single leg first, but initially just tuck the toes and lengthen the leg. Just create a bit more length out of the hip there. And then one leg kicks back and then extend. So it's a little pulse. 1, 2, and then come down. Yeah, so we're squeezing the back of the thigh and the bottom, but it's a controlled pulse because we don't want the upper body to move at all. So single leg is a great option. If we can, whilst maintaining the belly button to the spine, both legs, double leg kick. Now, really lift your chest and draw your shoulders back. So we don't want shoulders anywhere near our ears. We do want to feel the belly buttons coming back into our body. It's not falling out. The upper body is quite still, so this is great work for the bum and the back. You will feel it there. Double leg kick. We're going to pulse, squeeze, and release. Keeping the hips very still, lying across the mat. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Remember, there's nothing in the shoulders or neck here. And we're just going to do 4 more. If you're on single leg, finish with the opposite leg to where you started. And then once completed, we can again come up onto your knees and back into your heels. Let's get a little stretch here. Go wider in the knees, let the chest come down and just shift around a little bit back there to release. And then when you're ready, let's roll over onto your back. Now, we're going to stretch the legs here, having just woke them up a little bit with the bottom. So with the band, hook it around one foot and lift it up. Good. Straighten the other leg along the floor, but remember, if the back's not happy, do bend that other leg for support. Guide that top leg in towards you and let the elbows rest on the floor as you hold the band. Pressing the heel up. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, draw the leg in just a bit more. Good. So holding that stretch in the back of the thigh. And then slowly lower that leg down to stop just above the mat. Now hold it there and keep the tummy in, support the lower back down there, but push your foot forward. Tighten the thigh muscle. Take a breath in and then breathe out. Draw the leg up and in to you again. Can you bring it in a bit further than where you were? Good. Okay, let's change legs. Put the other foot in the band. Draw that top leg up and in. Notice it. Keep the elbows on the floor. Keeping the bottom firmly on the mat also. So here, slowly lower the leg down, stop just above the mat. Keep the belly button towards the spine. And even slower, we guide the leg up and in. Notice that stretch. Holding it here Good, so here, let's release that foot from the band and drape the band across you. We're going to use it as we go into our next move. We're going to come into our bridge and have the option of using the band in our hand once we include the arms. First, ensure your heels are in line with your sit bones, the knees are in line with your toes. So we'll start without it, but have it there ready if you want to use it. Remember, it's always an option. Let's come into a pelvic tilt. Your lower back comes into the floor, squeeze the bottom and continue with the belly button inwards. Peel your spine away from the mat. High in the hips up there, shoulders, hips, knees in line. Bum squeeze, take a breath in. Breathe out, both arms draw back as the shoulders draw down. Breathe in, hold. Breathe out, let them lower. We'll do it again. Breathe in, prepare. Breathe out, arms float back, shoulders down. And then bring the arms down. This time, hands are on the floor and bring the body down gently through the spine, letting your bottom come to the floor last. So without the band, it's just the arms going back like so. With the band, we come into bridge, we get there, then take hold of the band, hold it about shoulder width, but have a bit of slack in the middle, because as we hold our bridge, we're going to take the arms back, and if you have the band, pull it wider as the arms get further back. Then the arms come down with the band, and we're going to do it again. So breathe out as the arms go back. If you have the band, pull it wider, and then bring them back in and down. Good, let go of the band, and then bring the body down. So we let go of the band because we don't want it to restrict us on the way down, and even on the way up. We don't take it yet because we don't want it to restrict us on the way up. So ease your way up through the bridge first. Squeeze the bottom, hollow between the hips as you draw in the belly. High in the hips here. Option, band or no band, you choose. Breathe out, arms go back. If you have the band, pull it wider, draw the shoulders down, notice that resistance. Then bring it back through. Do that again. So breathe out as the arms go back. Breathe in, hold, shoulders down. Breathe out, release. Gently let go and melt down. The whole time you're squeezing the bottom to take you up and of course hold you up. You should become quite aware of that. Good. Continue with the belly button drawing in, lifting up through the hips. Find your place, slope here, shoulders, hips, knees, like a slope. Arms back, high in the hips. Now this time, can you stay here a bit longer and do 4 of these arm movements instead of 2? Of course, stay with 2 if that's better for you. Yeah, your body will tell you, but can we stay longer? Can we keep the bottom squeezed to hold us up? Take your time. So work at your pace. Listen to your body. Easing down when you're ready. Good. So let's go again. Tilting the pelvis. As we get into bridge, with or without the band, can we hold that position as the arms go back and forth up to 4 times? Remember, less if you prefer. You know how you feel, wherever you are, you're continuing to draw the tummy muscles inwards and squeeze the bottom inwards to each other, the bum cheeks into each other. Squeeze the bum inwards. You know what I mean? Shoulders down, rib cage settling into the body. Easing down. So let's try one more. Take your time. Remember 2 or 4 of the arm floats. High in the hips. Squeeze the bottom a lot. Breathe out as the arms go back. Breathe in. Breathe out as they return. Keep the knees in line with your toes. Maintain that core connection, feeling centered as you hold your bridge. Becoming quite aware of these bum muscles now. We let go of the band and melt back into the mat. Bum down last. And bring the knees to the chest. As you hug the knees to the chest, just circle the knees away and around, mobilizing through the hips and the lower back. That feels nice. And then from here, popping the feet back to the floor. Let's take a little stretch with the legs. So take your right foot in the band, or whichever one you like, because we're going to do both. Straighten out the other leg along the floor. Draw the top leg in. Good. And press the heel up. So just find that there. Holding it at the top there, point and flex. Just get that extra little release. Mobilizing the ankle. Good. And then holding it there, then take the band into the same hand as the lifted leg and bending your knee above the hip. From here, bend the other leg, come into a neutral place, and we're going to push that leg forward as the arm goes back with our single leg stretch here with the band. So here, the arm is up, the knee is up. Breathe out to extend, push through the resistance of the band. As you hold the band, keep the hand still. With the belly button towards the spine, the lower back stays neutral and still. Good. Now, if you wish, next time we can lift the other leg, come into tabletop and hold it there. Leave that other leg there, but remember, if you're better off, if you already know that you're better off having one foot on the floor for the support in neutral, do that. Stay as we began. You don't have to have the other leg lifted if the lower back doesn't like it. So it is a little bit stronger up here. Now, for those of you that do have the other leg lifted, what we could do is when the arm and leg come in, hold it, and then that lifted leg, the one without the band, we extend it by itself. Keep everything else still. And then opposite arm and leg. Push the band, arm back. They come back. The leg without the band extends by itself. So take your time. Yeah? It's a little bit more to concentrate on. A little bit stronger through the tummy. Remember, you don't have to have this other leg lifted. You could have the foot down and continue as we started. And we're just going to do one more of those. So opposite arm and leg. And then the other leg by itself. Good. Bringing the knees to the chest, gently rocking side to side. And we then prepare for the other side. So we put the other foot in the band. We can do the same thing here. So the other leg is lifted. The band is outside the leg so it doesn't get caught. And as before, we start opposite arm and leg. So let's work into it, build into it. Good. So here, keep this hand still. Push through the stretch of the band. Remain in a neutral space. And keep your bottom on the floor. Remember, you can stay with this if you wish. Or lift the other leg to add a little bit to it. Both feet off the floor is a little stronger. Might not be for you all, and that's okay. Put that other foot down if you prefer. If the back's unhappy, have one foot on the floor. Good. So connecting in through the abdomen, hollowing between the hips. And this time, if you wish, as we did on the other side, can you then straighten or extend the other leg, the one without the band? So take your time. We go opposite arm and leg, bring them back in. And then the other leg, just by itself, extends, keeping everything else still. So we focus a bit more on our inner stability. Work with your breath. Breathe out to move. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, extend opposite ends. Breathe in, breathe out, come back. Yeah? So start the movement on an out breath. And work to the pace of your breath. Good. So let's do one more. And then once completed, release the band and bring the knees to the chest. Gently rocking in and out. Excellent. Then popping the feet on the floor with the arms out wide, just slowly let the knees roll side to side. Move through the waist, the lower back, the hips. Let the upper body anchor you to the floor. One more each side. Good. Then here we're going to roll over onto your side. And again, with the band, but it's an option, we're going to put the band around the top leg, the top foot. It's an option. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. We can do exactly the same without. So if you are using the band, have your hand on the outside of the leg. You can put your head in your hand like me, or be down here. I can see the screen a bit easier like this, that's all. Now, we're just going to push your foot through the band. If you want to hold it shorter and tighter, you can, but be mindful of that shoulder. Circle, that's all we do. We circle. But if you're pushing through the band, there's a little bit more tension. We want to create a bit more tension in these leg muscles. Pull the thigh muscle up from the knee. Squeeze the outer leg, the buttock, on that top leg. Here, feel the belly button draw in throughout. So the upper body should be still. It's not a big circle, but it is a circle. Good. So mobilizing this hip as we squeeze into the bottom. Keeping steady where we can. Breathing out to start the circle. Breathing in as it completes. Now, take your circle in the other direction. Good. Take your time. Really push your foot through the band as you circle from the hip. Just creating a little bit more tension in the leg muscles. Just 2 more circles. And release there when you're ready. Remove the band, bend the knees, give the outer thigh a little tap. Now, from here, with the knees bent, one on top of the other, have your hand on the hip, and we continue with that core connection. We're going to allow the top leg, all it's going to do is go up and down. So the kneecap faces forward. This isn't a clam, it's just going up and down. Good. So the knee, the foot, the hip are about the same height the whole time. Think of those 3 points like a triangle. Yeah. So breathe out as the leg floats. Breathe in, hold. Breathe out, lower. With your hand on your hip is a great tool for you to ensure the hip stays out of the waist. We don't want this hip to hitch in. We're drawing this hip out of the waist as the leg floats up and down. Good. Probably becoming quite aware of that now. I say that because I am. So we'll do 3 more, let's be sure. Good. The rest of the body stays really still. And then give the outer thigh a little tap. Oh, probably needs it. Let's come up to seated. We'll have a little stretch seated and then we'll do the other side. So here we can take that top leg over the other one and really hug it in close so you feel it coming from here. Yeah, really draw it in as close to your chest. Is it touching your chest? Yeah, bring it in as close to your chest as you can. Sit upright. So it's not necessarily about turning on this bit. Let it all come from here. Good. And we're just going to lie down with our head at the other end of the mat. So nice and long in the legs. Oh, band, just like last time. If you didn't use it last time, don't worry about it this time. We'll see how you go. Maybe you know you've got one side different to the other. So band around the top foot, long leg. One day, well, I think my days of getting long legs are over. All right, so hold the band fairly tight. So you feel a little bit of resistance there as you push your foot through it and circle through the hip. Not too high, remember it's not up there, it's here. Your foot doesn't need to be higher than the hip bone. We're circling from the hip. That's it. So remember, as you lie here, feel the waist draw up from underneath you as you draw the belly button in. Because all these muscles co-contract and work together to hold you in place. So you should be aware of that as part of using your core muscles. Keep that leg lengthened. Squeeze the outer leg, the bottom. Really tighten up these thigh muscles as you push your foot into the band. Take your circle in the other direction. Is there a difference? Maybe it challenges your stability a bit more. So breathe out as you start the circle. Breathe in as it completes. Just taking your time. Let me just do a couple more here. Good. Then when you're ready, we can bend the knees in front of you, remove the band. Hand on the hip. And let's allow the top leg just to float up and down. But remember, it's not too high. Your hip, knee, foot come to about the same height. The kneecap is facing forward. The knee and the foot are the same height, yeah? With the hand here on the hip, draw this hip out of the waist. Yeah, keep length down the side body. So this movement is coming from the hip, but it's not too fast. Take your time. Have a little pause, a little in-breath at the top. Good. Just breathing out as we let the leg float. Breathe in, hold. Breathe out, release. Let's do 3 more. Slowly. And then let the outer thigh just release there. Come up to seated. So this time that top leg is crossing over the other one and we hug in very close. We lift the chest and just draw that knee in real close to your chest. So it all comes from here. Good, relax the shoulders, lift the chest and sit upright. Now we're going to remain seated and come into our seated roll back. I'll give you the option with the band. So here, we're going to take the band around the feet, have your feet in the band, hip width, and your hands slid down, your hands are low. So a common thing we see with this is on the way up, people end up doing this to bring their arm, I've exaggerated, but you know what I mean, they end up bringing their arms too high. So have your fingers on the floor, even to bring you back up. Because we only use the tummy muscles to bring us back up, not the shoulders. So we start small, tuck the tail, belly button drawing in, ease down about halfway, and then gently come back up, lift the chest. So have your hands low. Your hands certainly don't need to get any higher than your legs. Yeah? So look, my hands are quite low by the mat. Can yours stay there too? Good. Lift your chest, come back up. With the belly button drawing in, we start with the pelvic tilt. Tuck the tail under, ease down about halfway. Take a breath in and then breathe out, continuing to draw in the tummy to bring you back up. Now you may find that naturally you can get a little bit further as you've done a few, but can you get back up without lifting your feet and lifting your hands? Keep the hands down and the heels on the floor. Easier said than done sometimes. Hands are low. Good. So mobilizing the spine, tucking the tail, easing your way down, but a great big bit of core strength to bring us back up with control, especially if we're keeping the hands on the floor or low to the floor. So the band can actually support us, but also resist us if we hold it a little tighter. Let's try 3 more. Of course, you can relax before that, shake out the legs, release the band. Keep the shoulders relaxed. You don't need to go all the way down, but we try and keep the hands low, the heels down, the legs still. Belly button towards you. One more. And then as we sit upright, lift the chest, relax the band, shake out the legs. Good. So from here, get that band out of the way. Come down to lie on your back, bring the knees to the chest, and straighten one leg just off the floor. We're going to open the front of the hip now as we hold it in a shortened position, but keep the legs moving through our single leg stretch. So tuck the chin, look forward, curl up, bring the shoulder blades off the mat. Notice the lower abdomen as the leg goes long and low. Draw the ribs down towards the hips and look forward. So here, can we do 3 more on each leg? Hollowing gently. Good. And then take a big, long, open stretch. Lengthen out through the whole body, the midline, the front of the hips. And then take the arms wide. Bend the knees. Bring the feet hip width apart. Good. So settling back into a neutral space. This time, we're going to come into tabletop, allow one knee to lift and then the other. Remember, you can do exactly the same with your feet on the floor. All we're going to do initially here is take the legs side to side with the knees bent. Now be aware of the waist coming in around you as the belly button draws into you, guiding the legs, controlling the legs if you like. We're only taking the legs so far across that the arms and the shoulder blades are staying on the floor. Good. So when the legs go to the other side, hold it there, and can we straighten both legs? Then bend the knees, come back to centre. Take the legs across and straighten them. So if you want to add longer legs, you can. You can keep the knees bent as we began, or even just let the legs go side to side with your feet on the floor. So let's try a couple more each way, but of course, if you'd rather rest before or instead, please lower your legs or bring the knees to chest at any time. You try to finish with the opposite side to where you started, and then bring the knees to the chest. Hugging the knees in, gently rocking in and out with the knees. Good. So popping the feet back to the floor. Then here, with the band, and again it's an option, we're going to come into tabletop and have both feet in the band for our leg press. So here, as you hold the band, the elbows are on the floor. The knees are above the hips. With the belly button towards the spine, we're going to press the legs forward. Keep them high to start with, and then bend the knees. Now, as your legs extend, make sure your lower back stays still, yeah? As we do a couple, you could, instead of going up, take the legs forward slightly down. However, if your back is coming off the floor, just go up instead, yeah? This is a great option, keeping your back safe and stable, continuing with the belly button drawing in. Or we can push the legs forward and down for greater challenge on these core muscles. Listen to your body, please. Work to what feels good for you today. Doesn't matter if you've done it differently before, work to how your body feels now. So as you hollow between the hips, drawing in the tummy muscles, we create that inner stability, supporting through our lumbar spine. So we really want to keep the lower back still as you press through the band. But remember, you don't have to go low. If going lower encourages your lower back to come off the mat and tip and move, go higher instead. Revisit that core connection. Wherever you are, can we do 4 more? Of course, rest instead or before if you prefer, knees to chest. So our leg press, feet are staying hip width, so with the knees in line with the toes. Check that as you do it. And then once completed, let's bring the knees to the chest. And rock side to side this time. Just massage the back into the mat. And from here, pop the feet down. We're going to turn to face the screen with our knees bent to open up through the front of the body and move through the upper back. So let's pop something underneath our head to support the neck. So nice little release of the upper back before we get quite a squeeze into it. Shoulders above the hips. Stack ourselves nicely with the palms meeting evenly. Take a breath in. Breathe out, turn the waist, open up, look back at your thumb. Breathe in and breathe out, come back down. Press the hands together. Are they the same length? If not, adjust so they are. Because we want our shoulders stacked. Look back at your thumb and then come back down. So feel that opening, that mobility in the upper back. Breathing out to open, breathing in to hold, breathing out to come back. So a couple more. Allowing the arms to meet, we can then come over onto our front. Before we do the other side, come onto your front and we're going to put the band across the mat for us to lie on it. Remember, it is an option. You don't have to use it, even if you put it there and afterwards think, oh no, I'm going to do it without, it's fine. Listen to what your body tells you at the time. So upper back. Something under the forehead, we don't want to squish out off your faces. Arms down beside you, and just check the band is in a place where you can reach it. If it's not, just adjust a little bit so it is, and then let it go, because we're not going to use it to begin with. First couple of repetitions without, and you know what to do without. But basically, we just come into our dot. So tummy drawing in, lower back, bum and legs relaxed. Upper back is our focus. Turn the palms in, squeeze the shoulder blades together, float off the floor, turn the hands in, come into your dot, and then release. So breathe out as you turn the palms in to squeeze and float off the mat. Breathe in to hold, and breathe out to release. Try and keep your legs really still and relaxed, yeah? Continue with the belly button towards the spine the whole time. And feel that connection in between the shoulder blades. Now we can stay with this, especially if there's concerns with your shoulders. Or maybe this time we can hold the band, but have a little bit of slack between your hands and your legs. And then as we float off the floor, pull the band up and out, and then release. So it's a little stronger if, as we float up with the upper body, we lift the arms up and out as you pull the band and squeeze the shoulder blades together. So breathing out to float up, keep the belly button in, pull the band, breathe in, hold that squeeze in between the shoulder blades, breathe out, release. Keep the chin tucked in, continue to look down, and make sure your legs are relaxed. So the big toes are inwards, the heels are out. We avoid squeezing the bum. Instead, we squeeze the shoulder blades together more. So our focus remains the upper back, shoulders and tummy. Let's try 3 more. And then once completed, just relax there. Let go of the band if you have it. And then push up onto the knees and back into the heels. Taking the arms forward. Just shift side to side a little bit. Knees off through the back. And then here, we're going to come up onto the other side. So you might want to move your block or pillow to the other end of the mat, facing the screen, arms out in front. So we can open up through this side with bent knees, shoulders and hips, legs are stacked, one arm directly on top of the other, belly button towards the spine, take a breath in to prepare, and a breath out to turn the waist, open the arm, turn the head, and look back at your thumb. Hold for breath, and come back down. Let your hands meet. Keep the hip bones facing forwards. So we're opening the chest, drawing the shoulder blade in back there. Good. So let it all start from the center. We keep the belly button towards the spine. We start by turning the waist, then opening the arm. So let's try 2 or 3 more, see how you feel. A nice release, nice mobility through the upper back, mobilizing the thoracic spine. So 1 more if you can, or just relax there if you prefer. And here, let the hands settle and relax. Good. So come up onto your knees again, sit back into the heels, and with the arms forward, go wider in the knees, settle down into the space, and let both arms go over to your right, so you can take the left hand over the right. and slowly take the arms the other way. Taking the right arm over the left so we notice that side of your back. Good, coming up to kneeling, facing the screen so we can all see. That's it, in a kneeling position, we'll have a little kneeling side bend. So take your left leg out, square off the hips, and then here, just slide down that leg and back to centre. We're just going to work with that gently, coming down into one side, hips face forward, chest up, and then back to centre. Good, let the shoulders relax. And then change sides. So find some space if you need to, so you can take the other leg out, square off the hips, and slide down. Just get this lateral flexion of the spine, finding a side bend, keeping the hips facing forwards throughout. Still aware of drawing in the tummy. And then from here, bring the knee back to the floor and let's prepare to find our feet. So tuck the toes, bring the hands on the floor, press the heels into the mat and come into a standing forward fold. Let the head and the hands hang. You may even notice the back of the legs again. Continuing with the belly button towards the spine, tuck the tail and slowly, slowly roll up. Gradually rebuilding, we're not rushing this, take it slowly. Easing your way up through the spine, putting everything back in its place. Do allow your head to come up last. Look forward, roll the shoulders back and stand tall. Try to feel here, with your feet pressing down, your heels into the floor, that we're now standing up into our own true height. So relax the arms, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, lift the heels and lift the arms to shoulder height. Now here, as you keep your balance, draw your left arm back just a bit like a bow and arrow and look over the shoulder. Then bringing the arms in front and change sides. Try and keep your hip bones facing forwards. Good, let's do one more on each side. If you can keep the heels up, do so. Turning the waist just a little bit there. Good. Let the arms come down, the heels come down, and roll the shoulders. Now here, bring the elbows in and the palms up. Squeeze your right buttock and lift your left leg. If you prefer to have the toes down, just the heel up, that's okay. As we just do our dumb waiter with one leg lifted. Good. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. Take your time. Tightening up that standing leg. One more. Good. And step down, roll the shoulders. So let's do the other side. Squeeze the left buttock, lift up the other leg. So here, elbows in, palms up, open the hands to dumb waiter and back in. Careful not to lean, chest lifted. Squeeze the bottom and squeeze the shoulder blades. One more. Nearly. Good. Step down. Link the hands, take the arms forward, tuck the chin. Find a stretch across the upper back. Feels like you're separating the shoulder blades. Then bring the hands behind, open the chest, draw the shoulders back and lift the chest. Pull the arms back. Then we release the arms, take your right leg behind the other, lift the right arm up and ease across for a side bend opening. Look down and step out so we can prepare for the other side. Left foot back, hips forward, left arm up and reach over. And separate your feet to hip width. Roll the shoulders, let the arms hang light and loose. Stand tall and lift your chest. Continue with the belly button drawing in. Notice the natural curves in your spine as you stand. And just take a few deep breaths here. Notice that full and wide breath. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep the shoulders down. Standing into your own true height. So just a couple more breaths to notice. Feeling grounded. And with your next out breath, let's soften the knees and give the legs a little shake. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. Thank you.